I'm Sabra Williams. I'm the Director of Outreach and the Prison Project at the Actors Gang in Los Angeles. It was kind of created as a theatre company that does theatre for social justice and transformation. And I guess it was about 7 years ago, I went to Tim and asked him if I could be part of their prison program, because I'd been working in prisons in the UK with the English Shakespeare Company. And he told me he didn't have one, but I was welcome to create one. In California, there was still arts and rehabilitation, but I guess when the recession happened, all the programs were cut. And until recently, there was just us and a program at San Quentin, and that was it in the whole of California. That was it, but now it's starting to come back. Well, before I started the prison project, I guess I had quite a cliche point of view about American prisons. The difference with the British prisons is that we, at the time, and hopefully it's not as bad yet, but we didn't have the gang issues and the gun issues that America has to deal with. So I guess I thought it would be kind of a bit more dangerous or a bit more hardcore, but I knew that the work we did could really transform lives, so I just wanted to do it anyway. And when I started going into prisons here, I just realized people are people. It's the same everywhere. It's not really what they've done, it's whether they have the courage to transform themselves. What we do is crazy. I went into the prison with them and asked them to put on white face and makeup, although we call it man cake in prison, we don't call it makeup, and to start to wear masks. It was incredible because what they would say a lot is, putting on this mask has helped me take off the mask I've been wearing my whole life. So it's a great leveler of people. We work in 4 emotional states only: happy, angry, sad, and afraid. But you're like the happiest person that's ever lived, or the saddest person. And what that does is that, you know, every human has these emotions, and they deny their emotions most of the time, or they think they need to be numb to survive. But they're still there, and the reason they do what they do is usually because they're suppressing their stuff. So in the class, they get to really exercise these extreme emotions. And what all the officers and the powers that be say is that it stops them acting out. They don't have any infractions if they've been in our class. I think we've had 0 recidivism in 7 years, and that's against, you know, nearly 70% in California usually. You're having to face yourself. This work holds up a mirror to your life. It makes you take responsibility for your life. And one of the main things it does is it helps people to create an ensemble, a team. And usually in California prisons, it was segregated by race, and it's still kind of segregated, not by law anymore, but it's still segregated by race. So even if you're on the same yard as other inmates, you know, you have your gang affiliation usually. A white supremacist is not going to be hanging out talking to a Crip, you know. But in our class, there's all different races together. So for the first time, they have to look in each other's eyes. They have to work together as a team to build something creative together. And what it does is it knocks down all the barriers between them. And by the end of the 8-week sessions, they always say, these guys in this class are more my brothers than my gang. I'd go to the wall for these guys. And, you know, they're on the yard in a prison, and you know, you have a white supremacist saying, hey, what's going on? You know, a Crip or something. And other people are like, what are you doing? Because it's dangerous. If you look at someone the wrong way, or if they misinterpret how you're acting to them, you can be killed. So because they work in our class and they know each other from that, it's amazing. And it's kind of been like a little petri dish working in this one prison we work in the most. I guess we've been there 4 years now. And it's changed the culture of the prison, just through being able to be creative. Recently, we just went into Folsom Prison in Northern California, famous Johnny Cash prison, and we did a one-off 4-hour workshop. And the guys on the yard where we were teaching were all life. Our aim was to be able to create an ensemble with them and to enable them to look at their emotions a little bit, or give them tools to be able to do it. And so at the beginning of the class, it was interesting that they were all, you know, completely checked out, doing the exercises. And then they just went really deep, really fast, because they already have arts programs at Folsom, so they're open a little bit to it. And by the end of it, one of the guys said, he was crying in the sum up at the end, and he said, I want to speak on behalf of the others, and to let you know that when you're a lifer, especially without parole, we think that we have to remain numb in order to survive. But he said, I've been numb for 20 years, and today you guys came with tools to show me that while it's easier to be numb, it doesn't mean that I should be numb. So he said, I've decided today I'm going to rediscover my humanity, and I'm going to feel my emotions, allow myself to have emotions, even if I never see the outside world again, because you guys have given us tools to show us how to do it. Because I'm like, oh, they're crying, I'm crying. But you know, that happened in 3 hours. And it just shows that if people have the opportunity and the tools, that they can change themselves. That's not us doing that. That's those people having the courage to say, oh, somebody left me a hammer here, I'm going to build something with it. Commedia dell'arte started as like a people's response to those in power. So it was a group of, you know, actors who would go on this little cart from village to village, and the cart was their little theatre. So they would roll into a village square, and the people would know that they were coming. So all the people would gather in the village square, and so they would play these characters that the audience would know. So there's the rich miser guy who's, you know, really mean to all his servants, and then there's like the captain who's like a braggadocio, you know, maybe has never been to war but has all the medals, and there's the doctor who's a quack who has probably never studied but has all certificates off the internet. So there's all these stock characters that they would know who are people in power, and then there's the servant class, and the servant class are the ones who always end up getting one over on the master. It was satire, and so when people would come and watch, it would inspire them and make them think that they had power. So it was kind of dangerous what the Commedia was doing. So I guess, you know, it did create a wave of social change. I did think when I saw the one that you're using to stop violence against women, it did make me think of us, like, you know, rocking up in a little village with your magic tricks, because that's really how the Commedia worked. You know, they didn't really have a lot of accoutrements. They'd just come and speak to the people, and the people would respond. So it definitely reminded me of what we do in terms of the creativity of trying to get across a message, and not just going there, you know, from the West, rich country, a white person coming there and saying, hey, you guys should be doing this. But instead of that, offering, you know, through creativity, hey, what do you think of this? And then them responding. That's also what we do, and that's the history of Theatre for Social Change. Is, you know, much more, I guess, imaginative and creative than just going and telling people what they should be doing or what they should be thinking. But people are participating. I mean, they might not be doing the same thing as you're doing, but they are participating in the experience. And that, I mean, you know, when we do our plays, we do this thing that we call For Us. If you come and see an Actors Gang play, there's no fourth wall. We look directly into the audience's eyes, and they are in it with us. So removing the fourth wall automatically creates a participatory experience for the audience. Doesn't mean they're going to like it. Some people get threatened, or some people get overwhelmed by it, but that's still an experience. So measuring results is difficult in this work, because having done a proper study with numbers takes about 5 years, and it's very expensive to do. It's like EQ versus IQ. You know, how do you measure how people are started to be creative, or, you know, to create value in their lives with their emotions? How the hell do you measure that? There doesn't seem to be a way, apart from anecdotal evidence, that you can measure that. The only measurement we have in terms of numbers is if they reoffend. That's the only thing. But that's difficult because that depends on a lot of other things. You know, if they were a drug addict, do they start taking drugs again? Or if not, why not? Or if they do, why do they? So for us, we can see the culture of the prisons changed. For the powers that be in that prison, they can see the culture has changed through the guys. The guys can see it, but still it's not numbers.